Simon.
What's up, guys? Joel Valley from Media Glitch here, and today we are going to review Ghostbusters, the video game. It's the remastered version that just recently dropped on Steam, on PS4, on Nintendo Switch, on Xbox One, and it retails at $29.99. And we're just going to look at the career mode today because sadly multiplayer was not up. I even tried to hold off this review hoping it would come out, but it didn't. So what we're looking at here is actually PS3 footage, and I just wanted to just really quickly show you how much better it does look on the PS4. I'm gonna do a side-by-side comparison here in a little bit, but first let's get to the story. Now, the story of this game is pretty amazing, and I'm not gonna go too much into it, but what I'm gonna say is you start off as a new cadet, the fifth Ghostbuster, right? Every boy's dream, I think, when I was growing up anyway. And, you know, you're doing some shenanigans around the office, playing video games, giving facials with your proton pack. Meanwhile, Slimer is downstairs in the basement trying to escape. He's kind of taken by the ghost, you know, the capture chamber that you use. You end up shooting it, letting all these ghosts out in the city, which isn't a good thing. And meanwhile, in another place in New York, in the museum, there's some other ghost shenanigans happening, and that's basically where our story starts. And the reason why I don't want to tell too much about it is because I really feel like this is the number one key reason to play this game, because this brings back all the original actors. But not only that, Harold Ramis and Dan Aykroyd wrote the thing, and it's basically considered Ghostbusters 3. It's like canon. So it's awesome. Trust me, I can't say too much. I'll just say that a lot of the story is told through cutscenes, and while you're playing the game, it's giving you more and more information through different people that you interact with, and it all comes together very, very well.
You'll see that your warranty on rehaunting expired some time ago. You should have taken the extended service agreement.
Moving right along, we're going to look at the graphics. Now, the graphics of this game, it's interesting because it's a 10-year-old game. This came out on the PS3 and the Xbox 360, but I really feel like they did a good job. Now, this is a remaster. It's not a reboot, okay? There's a difference. So these cutscenes are still 10 years old, and yes, they do show their age. In fact, there's times you're playing the game and you're like, wow, this looks like a PS3 game, and they just kind of, you know, saturated the colors. But if you look here, look at the textures on the buildings behind State Puft Marshmallow, and you can see that there's a lot of detail that we lost on the PS3, and I feel like we're getting it now on the PS4, but I feel like it looked really good. It was running well. There were some frame issues, like kind of like a stutter during some of the cutscenes, but you get really used to it, and it's not bad. It's not a deal breaker. And you'll also see, like, during these cutscenes, it does show its age, but it feels a little bit more alive. It feels like there's a little more depth. Like they brought out the blacks. They saturated the image a bit, and I feel like they did a pretty good job with the cutscenes. But there are times where, I don't know, it just looked like, you know, a saturated PS3 version, okay? But a lot of the times there were some really impressive looking lighting effects that, especially with your proton pack, that I felt like we didn't get in the PS3 version. And especially when the light's reflecting off someone's face, I felt like it looks way better than the PS3 version. So, but let's take a look at this scene here with the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. There's a lot of stuff going on in the scene where I feel like on the PS3 version it felt really flat, but here I feel like it's got some depth. Now, I wasn't planning on doing the side-by-side comparison, so sometimes, yeah, I'll like swing over and you'll see the Stay Puft and you'll get to see how well it looks, but I definitely think there's a lot more depth in the graphics. I think there's a lot of cool stuff here. Some of the later bosses, lighting effects, all that stuff, I think even for a 10-year-old game still looks good. Now, we don't have those crazy load screens that we had on the PS3 version, but still the game takes a while to load, and I was shocked. I'm like, hey, we can do something about that, right? Like, we can cut those load scenes out, but sadly I feel like they're just as long. Yeah, like if you look at here, these are impressive graphics still for a 10-year-old game. I think it still holds up, and it doesn't hurt the game like you think it would, like bringing back a 10-year-old franchise.
Automatic pencil. I don't know.
And I played it on stream, and everyone in the stream really enjoyed it, but they also said that they felt like the graphics still held up. So I'm not the only one who thinks that. Now, I stream on Twitch, guys, so you're going to have to head over there and follow Media Glitch on Twitch, because you can see games. There's games I review that don't even make it to YouTube, so check it out. Now, moving on to gameplay. Again, this is a 10-year-old game. It's very linear. There's not very many places you can go off and explore. So it's definitely, it's there to tell a story and have fun. Now, the controls are pretty simple. You have your walking, you have your running, you have like a jump, but I never really used it. It's kind of useless, but the side dodge I used a lot. That's a bit of a lightsaber. You also have your proton pack that you use to obviously capture ghosts. Don't cross the stream, kids. And you got to lay your trap down. You also have a slam meter. Now, once that slam meter's full, you can basically throw them around like a rag doll, knock them out, and trap those ghosts. Now, when you trap those ghosts, you get money. And that's what you're going to use to upgrade your PKE meter, your proton pack, all that stuff. You're going to use your cash. That proton pack has different functions. There's a freeze ray. There's a shotgun mode. There's a just booger mode. I don't know what to call it, but like snot rocket mode too, that you use for a lot of different things. There's almost like a machine gun that gives off little blasts or just really rapid fire blasts. So it's really cool what they've done with the proton pack. Now, you can also do the PKE meter. There's a lot of functions for it. It helps you to advance a story. It can get information for your spirit Pokedex, I guess, and you can find out more about the ghosts that you're capturing. It's also used to find different artifacts throughout the game, and you use that to locate those things. You can even find a Ghostbusters DVD. Now, let's look at these options since we're here. You have the spirit guide, you have the equipment that you can upgrade, but you also have the artifacts. You can find out which ones you have. And then there's all the training tutorials in case you forget how to play. There's a career overview, how much time you played, financial records, medical records, combat performance, all that's here. You can also, there's the option menus where you can change different settings up there. You can invert controls, things like that. So there's a lot of cool stuff here that make this gameplay really good, in my opinion. Now let's talk about music and sound.
The end is near. My scalding wrath shall pour out upon your tender soul.
Now, the awesome thing about this story mode is that they got all the original cast, so it sounds amazing. They got all the original Ghostbusters. They even got Annie Potts to play the secretary. Everyone's here. Now, I can't go and show you too much of the music, the score, because it is a licensed movie property, and I will get demonetized here on YouTube. But trust me when I say it's awesome. But what really shines here is the environments. There's some really cool sounds that really get you into it. Listen to this. I mean, you can hear those creatures crawling around, and when you're fighting bosses or when you're destroying things, it just sounds amazing. And I heard my kid playing it the other day and through these huge speakers, and it sounded so good. They did such a good job. These sound effects are top notch.
The American Revolutionary War, could it? Or the war on roses, even the war on drugs. It just had to be this one.
So why buy this game in 2019?
I demand a refund right now.
I honestly think, and I did back then when it came out on the PS3 for $59, that this is all around a good game. Yes, it's a bit dated, and hey, you're paying 29 bucks for it. Now, I think unless you've played it already and you're not that into the Ghostbusters, then hey, okay, then maybe you don't want it. But I think for most people, this is a really good game at its core. And there's stuff to do afterwards. You can replay missions, get those artifacts. They have videos you can watch of the cutscenes, or even like a behind the scenes kind of making of the game. It is what was on the PS3 version of the game, but it's still cool and a fun added little feature. There are some art galleries you can see, and you can visit the art gallery for that specific board. You know, kind of cool stuff like that. Unless multiplayer doesn't drop, replayability, that might hurt if it doesn't drop. But if you're into trophies, there are a lot of trophies that you can get here. And I think, you know, for $29.99, that's not a bad price for the awesome story and the nostalgia. If you're older, maybe this isn't for younger kids, you know, I don't know. Let me know in the comment section below. What do you think? Is this a game that the younger generation would like? My son, who is 8 years old, absolutely loves this game and hasn't put it down, and has already beaten it and is continuing to like try to get all the trophies. So I feel like there is a little bit of replay value. We're gonna really know if its replayability is stronger if they do release that multiplayer, and if that multiplayer is good. So anyway, guys, thank you so much. Again, follow me over on Twitch, where I stream a lot of these games I review, and I stream games that you'll never even see on YouTube. So you want to do that. And thank you so much for joining us, guys, and we'll see you on the next review.